Alright, so let's get started, right? I think Jigaboo's a good one, but like if you're going out of your way to call someone a Jigaboo, in my mind, like if you're like I'm a black dude, if you're gonna walk up to me and call me a Jigaboo instead of just call me the hard R, I feel like the extra amount of attention that you put towards it is making it funnier. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, walking up to a random black dude and calling him the hard R is already like, what a loser. You know what I mean? Like, objectively, that's funny. If you go out of your way to use the term jigaboo, that is very funny. That's gonna apply to all those words, but jigaboo in particular has like a particular a certain consonants to it. It's just such a catchy word. I'd say that's honestly, it's basic. It's a 7 to an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Now, moon cricket is particular because moon cricket I think is funnier if it's not used in the right context. Like if I'm black and I'm being loud at night, I'm like singing a song at night, and you walk up to me and you call me a moon cricket, that's less funny than if it's like the middle of the day and I'm just hanging out and you're calling me a moon cricket. You know what I mean? So I think because it's so like context dependent, like it's funnier if you're using it wrong. It's depending on the context can either be like a 6 or a 4. I'm gonna say it's a 6, assuming the context is wrong, because most of the time it isn't. Now, Niglet is a fucking banger. All right, Niglet is funny as shit. You know, if I have a kid, I'm calling him a Niglet. You know what I mean? Objectively, that's hilarious. That's a great word. That's a great word. It's just a good word. You know what I mean? So Niglet, I would say, yeah, honestly, it's an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? I like that one a lot. Tripod, about the fact that white people are obsessed with that BBC. Now, here's the thing, right? Racists, and this is the funniest thing about slurs to me, when racists say slurs, they're mostly talking about themselves, right? Like when they accuse black people, like, oh, you animalistic blacks with your gigantic penises. You know that's because they're like insecure about theirs. They can't get that BBC out of their mind, and that to me is hilarious as shit. So Tripod, I'd say Tripod does at least, even though it's not like that catchy, I do think it's funny as shit. So like maybe a 6, maybe a 6.5, something like that. Now, Pickaninny. Pickaninny is based off like a racial caricature. But it's funny, you know what I mean? Because it's so like hyper specific. Like once again, you got to be like a competitive racist, not a casual racist, to know what a pickaninny is and go out of your way to call a black chick that. You know what I mean? Like if you know what pickaninny is and you going out of your way to call a black woman that, or God forbid, a black like girl that, you're such a loser. Objectively, that's funny as shit. You know what I mean? Now, rope straightener. Rope straightener, I think, is not like it's catchy to say, but the context of it isn't like particularly funny. You know what I mean? I think it's funny if you like just lost a fight. You know what I mean? Rope straightener is like a funny thing to get called as a black person if you're being called that by a white dude that you just won a fight against. In any other context, it's not that funny, but in that context, it's like at least a 6. So I'd average it over to like 3 out of 10, right? Spook is really funny. Spook is like oh, black people, they have dark skin, so if you like walk up to one of them like late in the night, you'd get spooked because you'd see them last second because they're like blending in. You know what I mean? This one, yeah, I think it's like funny because of how catchy it is. You know what I mean? I think no, you know what the funniest thing about spook is the fact that it's like something that so few people know is a slur. I love the idea of like a white VTuber who is not racist coming up with like a gamer tag that has the word spook in it because they're like let's say like a zombie themed VTuber, and like getting in a lot of trouble for it and being like omega apologetic over it for the next like 3 years. You know what I mean? It's a very funny concept to me, simply because it's so easy for white people to not know it's a slur and use it. I'd say that's like an 8. You know what I mean? Schwarzenegger, objectively hilarious thing to call a jacked black person. I'm gonna say that's a 9. Like if I ever become like jacked, which granted isn't gonna happen. The only physical exercise I do is squats, right? I'm not gonna be a Schwarzenegger. But if I one day become a Schwarzenegger and you as a black person call me a Schwarzenegger, that's funny. That's hilarious. That's top tier. That's really good. Shipping cargo. That's insane. That one's insane. That one's insane. I can't think of a context in which it would be like any more particularly funny than any other slur. I do think shipping cargo is like funnier if you're being called that by a working class person. Like if a billionaire calls you a shipping cargo, like it makes sense because like that is the kinds of people that would benefit from that. You know what I mean? But if you're being called shipping cargo by someone who's by a white dude who's been gaslit by billionaires into thinking that you're his enemy as opposed to like the billionaires that told him that, objectively that's like pathetic enough that it's just kind of hilarious. You know what I mean? Now, nigabite. Nigabite goes so hard as a slur for black people that are nerdy. You know what I mean? Uh, Birdly from Deltarune is a nigabite. That goes hard. That's not even like mean. Like I'd use that. I'd call myself a nigabite. Sure. You know what I mean? That's really good. I like nigabite. Now, tree ornament. Same as shipping cargo. So, oh yeah, I didn't rank nigabite. Nigabite's a 9. Tree ornament, same as shipping cargo. I'd say it's like a 4. You know what I mean? It depends too much on the context. Chain dragger. Chain dragger is particular. Excuse me, I had to mute for a sec. Chain dragger. I feel like chain dragger is pretty like stereotypical. You know what I mean? Like chain dragger is like you didn't even really try that hard coming up with the slur, which I think adds to the comedic value of it. I mean, it's not like super particular. It's not like particularly catchy. It's just kind of like it used to be accurate. So yeah, it's not that funny. I'd say it's a 4. It's a 4. It's still, like you're still a dumbass for calling somebody that, like inherently that has comedic value, and you're going out of your way to not just use the N word. I think that's really funny, but it's not particularly so. Blackie is too catchy. You know what I mean? Blackie is a problem because it's too catchy. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm black. I am uncomfortable with the word blackie because it sounds too fun to say. You know what I mean? I would love walking up to a black person that is my friend and going, "Yo, what's up, blackie?" You know what I mean? Nah, that goes hard. That goes hard. It goes hard. It's too like catchy to say. I feel like we whiz past the timeline where black people call each other blackie the way that we call each other nigga. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's like to be called that by a white person, I say, 7 out of 10 in terms of funniness because it's like very catchy. You know what I mean? And Negroid. Now, Negroid is a 10. Negroid is fucking unparalleled, my nigga. Negro, if okay, if I can't possibly bring myself to imagine a more stinky white person than one that would go out of his way to call me a Negroid. In a word where the hard R exists, if you walk up to me as a white dude and call me a Negroid, nigga, that is too funny. You should stop talking. All right, you've taken away the concept of comedy from roll. You know how meth works. Meth, like you take meth one time and it feels so like great and it feels so good that the rest of your life is ruined because you know you'll never feel that good again unless you take it. You know what I mean? That's Negroid. That's Negroid to comedy. You know what I mean? That's too funny. It's too funny of a word. Objectively, it's too funny. You can't be calling people that. You know what I mean? The fool you're making out of yourself is to a scale that I struggle to take seriously. Absolute top tier. I can't think of anyone that's better. If you got any suggestions in the comments, I do not want to hear it. All right, that's enough.